How's it going, everybody? Hopefully you can hear me okay. It's going to be... I don't know how long this one's going to be. Hello, Jigingus. Hello, Exeat. Hello, everyone listening live. Today is June 14th, a rare solo Tuesday Town Hall episode. But I got to get started the proper way. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me okay. Alright, Crossrunner and Molten Sky are here. LOL, Kane, thank you so much. How's it going, everybody? And welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 274. I am your host, Spencer Presley, and today is a special news jam-packed filled town hall discussion topic. Originally, we were just going to be talking about Soul Hackers 2, with the Collector's Edition getting revealed, the dub reveal, and all of that. And then Xbox decided to drop a megaton, and basically, now we have learned Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal are all coming to Xbox and PC, and more details on PlayStation and the lack of Switch later. But yeah, basically, I want to open this up for everybody out there. Yeah, the dub reveal in quotations is very, very apt. But quick little introduction to everyone listening live. If you would like to call in and have something you want to get off your chest or a topic you'd like to bring up, basically go to the SMTN Discord. The link is in the description. I boosted it up to the top. Just mute yourself in the town hall. I'm going to do a quick rundown of the news in case people out there might not be aware of everything. So go to the town hall, mute yourself, and then I'll bring people in one at a time as that progresses. So let's do Soul Hackers 2 first. So Soul Hackers 2 was at Summer Game Fest, kind of expectedly, and Keighley basically had the exclusive reveal of the English dub trailer. It was less than a minute. We only heard 2 English voices, and we don't even know who they are or who they're playing. Presumably it's Fig and probably Ringo, but in terms of a trailer, it was pretty meh. But we did have a surprising bit of news after the fact, or it might have been like right before, but it didn't go on sale until last Friday. So in between last episode and this, the Collector's Edition was announced for Soul Hackers 2 and sold out completely. So if you are curious and are maybe waking up out of a coma and didn't know there was a Collector's Edition for Soul Hackers 2, don't feel bad. It was very expensive. Let me pull this up for the content. So, first up to know that this Collector's Edition was $200. That is not including free shipping, by the way. So this was a very expensive, it was exclusive to the Shop Atlas channel, so you had to get this through their online store. Interestingly enough, this was the first time they've actually ever done that. I've been telling them to be doing this for years, especially for those games that might not have made as much sense at retail, but it's like 7 years late, but at least they did it, so we have that to look forward to. So here was the content of the Collector's Edition. It came with... I keep pulling it up, and then it's like, nope, that's the digital one. Alright, so this comes with multiple things, all inside of a collector's box. Obviously, you get the game on Xbox, PS4, or PS5. You get 5 collector's cards, and those are all included with the launch edition. So if you just buy the game physically for $60 when the game comes out in August at retail, everyone gets those cards. Comes with a shark keychain, a USB with the soundtrack, or assuming some of the soundtrack. You would hope all of the soundtrack since it's not on a CD. There are 5 character pens, so one for each of the main party members, well, and Fig. The very, very sought-after Ringo Jack Frost plush, Aho-kun. And, I mean, not plush, but this is just a small figurine. That's just the exact same one from Japan. So, that's the big one there. Everyone was wanting that. For Spencer out there, and by the way, not a lot of people have actually talked about this. This steelbook is exclusive to this $200, like, there were less than 5,000 of these made. They're all sold out. Yeah, this was a $200 collector's edition with also whatever your shipping and taxes situation was. So for me, it was like $225 because I think shipping was like a flat 25 for me. But yeah, the Steelbook is exclusive to this edition. There is no Steelbook planned for Japan, which is absolutely crazy. And also comes with a plush of the little like owl guy we've seen. I forget his name, or girl. It looks like the owl is named Mimi. So there will be a plush of Mimi. All of that for $200. I'm pretty in for that. I mean, the price is ridiculous, obviously. But I think something people don't really necessarily know with the complaint of the Soul Hackers 2 stuff is that this is something that's, like, when you mass produce things, like, look at the Persona 5 or Royal Special Editions, like, thousands upon thousands of those were made. Like, those mask and, like, art books, like, the more you make of something, the cheaper it is to produce. So when you do the bare minimum, it's going to be more expensive. So obviously a lot of that cost was put onto the consumer, but yeah, it's not like this was super cheap for Atlas to make either, especially because there are a lot of unique items just in this collector's edition. The only thing Japan shares with this one is the Ringo Jack Frost figure, but I know some people were disappointed. They would have liked the actual CD or the art book. The art book would have been nice, but really, like, there's so much text, and like that celebrating the 25th anniversary of Soul Hackers is going to have a lot of text to translate all that. I just don't think Atlas West would think it really is like worth it when they can just like, hey, make some pins and stuff like that. Actually, I say we got the dub and the collector's edition. There was actually some news about the DLC and the different editions. So now the game is fully pre-orderable everywhere. You can pre-order the game on store shelves, digital shelves. There's day one DLC we found out about. I made a whole video about that. If you want to check that out, it's still on the channel. I've appreciated the support so far. It goes over most of the DLC as well as my thoughts on Atlas Day 1 DLC. The only real takeaways is looks like Nemessa is going to be a paid DLC demon along with like Mara and a couple others. DLC costumes with music, not that surprising. And there will be a DLC story mode called Lost Numbers. We don't know anything about it, but it's new story content. So I'm optimistic for the story stuff just because Atlas doesn't do a lot of paid story DLC that's not just like forgettable side quests. And if you are curious about the price, at least for the West, normal edition of the game, $60. There's a premium version of the game. I guess the deluxe version of the game is $70. That comes with the story DLC and like a bonus like item pack that you're never going to use. And then the premium one that comes with everything for $90. I know pricing is not the same in all regions, and I know a lot of people have been kind of screwed over in terms of pricing. So obviously, depending on where you live, your pricing may vary. And important just to kind of note all of those things. Ironically, that was not the biggest news. At the Xbox show, or the Xbox plus Bethesda showcase, the literal third to last piece of news, just to like really kind of show like how crazy this was, Phil Spencer came out, Phil Spencer himself, he didn't announce SMT9 HD, sadly, but he did announce that they are now working, and by the way, big shout out to Phil Spencer for the way he phrased this, was like, oh yeah, Atlas is finally returning to Xbox. RPG fans, stand down, don't worry, we got you. Which I love because the last Atlas game that officially released on Xbox was Ultimax in 2014. Like, it wasn't even an RPG. Alright, so details about these. These are pretty easy. These are all coming to Game Pass. Persona 5 Royal, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 3 Portable. Royal comes out first. It'll be in October of this year on Xbox and PC. That is the only ones that are currently dated. We have also found out through an Atlas press release that they will also be releasing all three of these games will be coming to PlayStation 5 as well as Steam, but that has not really been made super apparent. I'm assuming a lot of that is also just tied to the fact that this was announced in the Xbox show, so they're not going to talk about Steam when they can say Xbox and Windows. Same thing with PlayStation. So I think it's safe to assume PS4 is also included with that. It'd be very weird for this to only be PS5, especially because when I say these are coming to Xbox, I mean Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. So anything Xbox One or Xbox in general is getting it. So really, really big things to see there. I don't think anyone really saw this one coming outside of like a couple of last minute leaks and stuff like this. Really, like we knew these games were coming. And by the way, thank you to everyone who's been either mad or giving me pats on the back for calling that this was going to be Persona 3 Portable. I know that's its own kind of topic and stuff, but I am really just kind of. I'm actually glad it was revealed at the Xbox show. I think like it would have been obviously a really big bang for people if it was at like a Nintendo Direct. We don't even know that those are happening though. To be fair, well, officially yet. And I think Microsoft getting it is a really big boon of just kind of showing like, hey, look at stuff like Soul Hackers, look at stuff like Persona 3, 4, and 5 coming. We want this series on as many platforms as possible. We know that like newer stuff for the most part has no problem being on Switch. So to kind of bring it back to well, not bring it back, but because really 9 and Ultimax don't super duper count. Like to bring it to a platform as kind of disregarded as Xbox has been, and PC to a much lesser extent, just sent an overall really, really good message that I appreciated. Alright, so I'm going to take this over to the town hall. We're going to go pull in our first guest here, which I think was Tearcraft. I think Tearcraft was first, so let's bring him in. Tearcraft, if you can hear me and you want to unmute yourself, how's it going?
Hello, do you hear me?
Loud and clear, how's it going?
Pretty good. Just the other day when I saw the trailer, like revealing that all the 3 games were coming to Xbox and PC, and I mean, I assume Steam. I know that like the press releases like confirmed that and everything, but like I'm still like the most smidge anxious that like
It is weird they've been so silent. Even we're into Tuesday and they've yet to like post it on their socials. It definitely kind of comes across of like, were you supposed to include that in the press release yet and stuff like that? You know?
yeah, I guess I have like a couple things I wanted to say.
Yeah, go for it.
One, um, do you think that the Persona 3 portable remaster, whatever we're gonna call these,
I do love they called them remastered. I mean, I know that you can't just like call them like a, because like really, from everything I've been told from the development side of it, they're just stuck a PSP emulator and threw it into a 4K AI upscaler, which like to me, you don't really need to do much more with those games. Like, I wouldn't
oh,
call it a remaster, but I mean, if you're gonna call something like Nocturne HD a remaster, it's like it's a little less than that amount of work.
oh, well, you kind of just answered what I was gonna ask, because I was gonna ask you if this was gonna be like a native port or like an emulated kind of thing, which,
It's it's a yes and no. There is a new version in terms of like they are adding a lot in terms of support. So we already have had it. I had heard it before, but it was nice they made it official. The game is getting a translation for the first time in French, Italian, German, and Spanish, so that'll be really big, especially for Persona 4. P5 has already had that, obviously, but 3 and 4 never having a Spanish translation officially will be nice. Um, they're doing a lot of back end stuff in terms of making it more modern, but they're not going to touch anything in the games. They're not going to change anything. They're not going to remove Ken's social link. They're not going to add 3D walking in segments. It's like whatever game is on that portable version, like P3P is going to be P3P on modern systems for all of its like good points and bruises.
for better or worse.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I assume that like, or wait, sorry. The thing that like I don't like the most about P3P, based off what I've heard, because I haven't exactly played it, and I'm gonna kind of wait now since this whole thing got unveiled to wait until that's out
Mm-hmm.
in next year. What makes me kind of upset about it the most, it's not the lack of the 3D overworld. It's not the Ken social link. Well, that's like one, but eh, this is what like kind of upsets me most of what it like lacks from the FES version. Uh, I really wish that they were able to include like the anime cutscenes because just I don't know, it just seems like
Yeah,
the,
so yeah,
like
they did have to leave some of the anime like cutscenes out and make them just cutscenes. I give like two bits of points. There's actually more voice acting in Portable than original P2. I mean P3 on PS2. I think there it like it. I wouldn't put it past them because I know at the very least they have those raw files from 4 and 3 to put in. The unfortunate thing is P4G showed us like they didn't like upres those. Like they didn't like find a 4K version of like all those animated openings. Like they're pretty much just stretched open. In the little trailer video we seen, it's pretty much just kind of confirmed. Hey, yeah, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be like those native resolution. You're gonna see them at like at best like 480. So I would like them to add it in. There's nothing stopping them, but I think it's also another one of like, is it worth the amount of effort just to like throw those movies in? Especially then when you think about it, where it seems like it's an easy thing to kind of do.
It won't work for FemC because they didn't do it.
Exactly, that's the other thing. It's going to make half the game seem weird. Where it's like, cool, so then you're going to have all these cutscenes, but only for half of the game, for like no reason.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess like the one thing I'm looking forward to mods wise is someone just maybe being able to stitch the ones from P3 in, but
That'll
about,
definitely happen. That's something easily that I think the modding community could do. But I think in terms of Atlas themselves wanting to do it, yeah, it looks weird for them to do it as opposed to someone modding it in.
Yeah. I guess another thing. It's one because Atlas and Sega as a large has tended to be on this relatively predictable pattern. Not to burst anyone, not to burst Spencer's bubble, not to burst anyone's bubble, but I imagine that a P3P and P5R on PC probably gonna have Denuvo.
Oh
I
yeah,
know they haven't said that, but like
it
that's
will.
about as obvious.
If every other game they put in has it, it'd be weird if these ones didn't. Even though everyone hates it, and it doesn't help anything. It's not making the game better.
I know, but I have a feeling that with the way things are now, I doubt that they're gonna be like cracked very soon after release because I'm pretty sure for P4G, the only reason that was like that people got around it was that like in one of the Steam depots or something, they had an executable that didn't have Denuvo in it, and then people kind of like used that to like pirate it or whatever.
Yeah, what was funny with P4G was back when it stealth released 2 years ago, they had, because they basically shadow dropped it. It was already like known through like Steam database leaks. They upped, like the store said Denuvo was in the code, but they forgot to include it in the launch version.
Yeah, I'm just saying, unless something like that happens again, no one's gonna get past Denuvo for probably a bit, for better or worse.
I'll at least say this: at least something like Persona 3 and Persona 5. The big complaint most people usually have with the Denuvo is like it's making the game run worse. I don't think people are going to have to worry about performance for most of these games. Like, these are going to be pretty easy. Like, if these are not optimized well ports, it's going to look pretty embarrassing. Because, like, these are all pretty dated, like, engines.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll probably get some guy out there with a potato who's, like, mad that he gets, like, 59 FPS instead of 60 on P3P, and then he blames it on Denuvo instead of his garbage.
I gotta say, though, I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. I'm a little worried. I've seen some people think that the trailer was in 60. The trailer showed all 3 games still in 30 FPS.
Yeah,
so
I don't doubt, though, that I bet one of the first mods people are going to try to do for P5R is 60 FPS.
My question is this, like, not even like it'd be a mod. That's something that I'm like, that's something, if this is going to have a native PC PS5 and Series X port. And I'm like, can this game please just run better than 1080p and 60? Like, there's nothing stopping this game from doing 4K 60. It's not that graphically crazy. So it's just one of those things where it's like, man, I really hope... Like, especially because, like, assumingly, it could be a free upgrade from the PS4 version, but let's assume they're going to charge us for the PS5 and PC version and stuff. For the non-Game Pass people out there, they're probably going to charge for this new version. Be like, they've got to do something. They're clearly not going to include like new story content because that would be very weird.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen.
But like, there's so many little things they could do that could make this like a nice little. Oh hey, the game's finally in 4K, or like, oh, do you want to play like Tycoon with people online? Like, there's a lot of little things they could do that would be that would go a long way for this.
Yeah, it would, but really, look, to me, the big deal is the fact that I can play P5R on PC with mods without having to jailbreak my PS4, and be able to have free cloud saves, presumably, not have to pay PS Plus for cloud saves. So that's about all I need for this re-release. It's to run decent and do what I previously said. And I guess another thing is that I've seen, I think some people are talking about this in the Discord general chat, because I'm kind of like, I kind of see it passing by. I'm not like a very like anime. I'm not like, I don't really know if I'd call myself like a weeb, but like I do have like a feigning interest in anime stuff, but I just never really have gotten like super into it. But like the way some of these people like act about like translations, like
you would think they're rewriting like you would think they're rewriting the Quran or something.
Yeah, you'd think that's what would be happening. Although I wouldn't, I would imagine maybe not the Quran, probably like a Rick and Morty episode based off of the thought I have of some of these people, of like Reddit atheist types.
Yeah, we'll have the depth of a Pickle Rick episode for retranslations.
Yeah.
So I got one question for you then before we get on to the next person. Out of all of 3, 4, and 5, which one are you most excited to get a modern port for, and why?
To be honest, 5. I feel like mods for that game. Look, like you said, pretty excited for like any decent difficulty mod, because the base game, I don't like it the way the difficulty is, because merciless is too easy and hard is like, I don't like the idea of, oh, I get less XP and less gold, so I have to grind more.
Mm-hmm. No, I definitely get that.
I guess I just hope that in the official release or a mod or something kind of has the difficulty selection that like P4G has on PC.
That's another one that I hope they actually develop, and like I feel like that's another one that like you could actually properly balance that game with this update, I would hope. Because right now we don't know. I know who's developing 3 and 4, but we don't know who's doing 5. And I would like to assume it's Atlas doing it internally, but hard to say. So like I would like to assume like they have the ability to rebalance the game and like make it feel properly balanced, as opposed to like, yeah, because like right now, whether people love Royal or hate Royal, it's like we can all kind of agree like, yeah, it's balancing is all over the place. It's very broken.
Yeah, I know you probably meant mods when you talked about that, but I think Atlas has a higher chance of re-releasing SMT 1 and 2 in English than doing that.
I appreciate your optimism at least, but thank you for waiting so long, Tearcraft.
Right. I'll just watch the rest of the stream.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
You too.
All right. I think the next person I saw in here was Xeat. So Xeat, if you want to unmute yourself, how are you doing tonight?
Hello. Doing good.
What is on your mind? What do you want to talk about? What is burning a hole in your Atlas conversation topic?
So one thing is basically because I do have Game Pass, but I don't know how it does things. I'm wondering, like, will it, if you play 5 on Game Pass, will it give you the DLC for free, or is that, because I don't know how Game Pass handles.
I'm glad you asked that. I actually wanted to bring up DLC as well. I think with something like this, especially because it's launching on PC at the same time, you would assume this just comes with all the DLC. Because none of the, like, no, even with the game launching on Game Pass, no one was going to be excited to buy $8 Kasumi costumes. Or, like, optional boss fights. So, like, I think it's, and again, we can't ever assume with Atlas here, but I feel like it's too easy of a win to just not have this version come with all the DLC included, you know?
Yeah, so we know how to do it, but also, on the other hand, let's say Soul Hackers is on Game Pass, then will you get the DLC for free on that? Because again, I don't know how Game Pass handles DLC stuff.
So Game Pass handles DLC usually different per game. It's normally not given away for free. So a good example is that new Cuphead DLC that comes out in a week. That is not included on Game Pass. Cuphead is on Game Pass. The Delicious Last Course, though, you still gotta buy. There are certain cases, like Destiny has had expansions free on Game Pass. So it really usually just kind of depends. First-party stuff like Forza, you still have to buy. Like the new Forza Horizon Hot Wheels stuff, you still have to buy that even though you get Forza Horizon 5 on Game Pass. There's a discount when you buy the game. I don't think there's a discount for buying DLC. I can double-check that. But I think in a situation like this, when it's a port of a game and multiple games that have been gone so long, obviously P5 is the only one they have to worry about with the DLC, but I just feel like there's no way they look not greedy if they try to sell those costumes again, you know? Like, they already looked greedy doing it on PS4 at launch.
Yeah, I get that, but we never know with Atlas.
It is a tough one. I'm just like, I'm praying for them. I'm like, come on, guys, like call this like your definitive edition version or whatever. Especially kind of then going back to the whole PS5 version of this. If this is also coming to PS5, just why not? Like, because like in my brain, even though it's on Game Pass, they're probably going to resell this for 60, maybe 50 if they're being nice. Like, even though Persona 5 Royal, like, on a good day is worth like $20 now, they would like to try and get back as much of that money as possible. So it being on Game Pass, price isn't really going to matter there as much for a lot of people. I'm actually going to be curious. I'm wondering, is Persona 5 launching in October going to be more of a thing, do you think, of will it lead to a lot more people playing Persona for the first time, or will it lead to a lot of Atlas fans signing up for Game Pass? Which one do you think will be a higher number?
Well, the amount of people who basically are like only a game on PC and they say always wait for the port. There's a decent amount of people who just either emulated vanilla, and are basically saying I'll play Royal when either a PS4 emulator is stable or when it gets support. So I'm thinking PC, but that's just my observation.
I'll say this. I think there is, especially with the lack of any Switch stuff, there's been a lot of people being like, why is it coming on Xbox? No one on Xbox wants it, blah, blah, blah. There is still a very large like fan base there who does want to play it on Xbox One or Series X and stuff. I'm pretty curious of like, I always wonder, like, I thought it was so funny of the amount of people who will like look at a game that's free on Game Pass, or I shouldn't say free on Game Pass, included on Game Pass, and who will go like, but is it coming to Steam? Like, that's such a funny thing to me, of just being like, I'd rather pay the money for the game outright than like have to go through like the Windows Store. Like, that's like such a level like I can never wrap my head around.
Now, when the last person mentioned a difficulty mod, it reminded me that in Gnarly's video, he said that someone might make a hard type mod for Persona, which would be really interesting.
Oh my god. Listen, if you guys think the amount of weird Atlas character models sometimes dry humping each other on Twitter or Discord is a lot now, just wait till these games are all on PC. You're gonna have all these model rigging, Steam Field Maker. It's gonna, yeah. The internet is gonna have a field day with these games officially being on PC. I'm so sure.
Yeah, can't wait.
But what about you though? Is there one of these three that you're more excited for, or why?
Mainly Portable because I do have a copy of it, and typically what I do is I'll go to it, I'll be on the first level, die to the first boss, go, I'll always do this later. I've already played through 3, so just in the FMC route, so I'm just kind of like, I'll always do it. It's happened like 5 times now. Now it's a port, I can't do it because I gotta wait for the new version.
I gotta say, Portable is one I'm definitely the most excited about. Obviously, because I can play Golden on my Vita right now, and even though I can play Portable on my Vita, I want to see, like, what do they do? Like, what do they do for achievements? What do they do for, like, how does that game look like in HD, like, up-res? Like, it already, like, honestly, like, when I saw the trailer, it's funny, like, even though Portable I know is the most graphically unimpressive, it's just so funny to me of just, like, wow, it's, like, it's weird to see, like, this game with such, like, simple 2D and, like, 3D models, but, like, I think because it's been so much time since it came out in 2009, like I'm like kind of ready and nostalgic for it just because it's been like 13 years at this point.
Yeah. I'll let the next person go now.
Well, I appreciate you for waiting, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, I think we're gonna, and I might be skipping ahead, but Moon Rabbit put a gun to my head and said, "I'm in a hurry. I've got to rob a bank in 15 minutes." So, Moon, if you want to unmute yourself and let us know what do you want to talk about?
So the main thing that I've seen, just the translation stuff, especially that people are getting a bit crazy about.
Yeah, the stuff specifically with like the translation, I've been thinking it's like so weird of just like, is it because they're worried it's going to get changed? Because like it's not like Atlas has a precedent for like changing their games drastically, and like even in the most in the most recent example of P5R, the change wasn't even like a good one or a bad one. It was just a stupid one.
Yeah, it's not like we're getting Revelations Persona 3. Like, they're not doing that. Although that would be funny. But another thing with the Denuvo stuff is, if I remember correctly, Soul Hackers 2 on Steam doesn't have Denuvo.
It's not listed, but I think that's because it's not been fully uploaded yet. I was thinking about putting this in news. I haven't seen this reported anywhere, but a little interesting Soul Hackers thing did come up. Soul Hackers actually just this week finally went gold. So the game is fully done, so I'm expecting us to see download size and things like that. It's like preload options starting to get more put like readily available for everything. So that was one of like, that's probably why. But yeah, everything I've heard for it is like, yeah, Denuvo is still there playing on everything. Sonic Frontiers, Persona, Soul Hackers, they're all gonna have Denuvo.
Yeah, in the because I know this sounds like the stupidest thing ever, but someone in the SMT modding server read through the EULA for Soul Hackers 2.
That has got to be someone with a lot of free time on their hands.
But they were talking about how like Atlas is like claiming rights to all of the mods made or something.
Well, technically technically that's the case. I remember I did a lot of digging about that when Dead or Alive started coming to PC, and Koei Tecmo had a big thing kind of come out of like, hey, you guys are more than welcome to mod, but anything you make, we own the rights to. So anyone who makes mods for Persona, like a good example is like, let's look at that thing that Faz and all of them are working on, the like director's cut, which is again hilarious because it's like, the director was never involved and it was 2 different directors anyway. But like the royal cut that Faz and them are working on, at any moment, like honestly, especially because like they're planning on releasing it around the same time as the PC release, I will be expecting a cease and desist as soon as they put it up, and then Atlas owns the rights, by the way, to anything they made, because like that's also the other funny one of like, to be fair, they're really not like, they're putting work into that cut, but they're also using all of their unused content from Atlas. It's Atlas's stuff that's unused for a reason. So it's like all their hard work is immediately just going to get like shut down like a Nintendo fan game, and Atlas owns the rights to it, and they get none of the work or the profit for it.
But yeah, something I really do hope Atlas does at some point in time is putting Persona 1 and 2 somewhere other than the PSP, because the PSP version of Innocent Sin sucks, and people need to play those. And it's a bit weird to me that they're not just going to throw it on Steam or something, just to have it there.
I've
It
been
doesn't seem like the...
I've been a little surprised at some of the reception to the 345 news. Is like, oh god, here we go. They forgot P1 and 2. But like in my brain, I have to like ask people, is like, let's be real. Were we expecting, especially after the last year of terrible announcements, were we expecting Atlas to just go, all right, guys, all at once, 1 through 5 is coming to modern consoles? Like that would have would have been amazing. But like even in a company like look at something like Square. Square couldn't even do that with Final Fantasy 1 through 6, and all of those are like pixel games.
Yeah, it's because I just hope that one day they'll just like throw like the games on, even if it's like the PS1 versions. I don't know how they do that. That probably is a good reason why they haven't. Is that Atlas kind of fucked up the translation of the Persona 2 games, where we got Eternal Punishment on PS1 and then Innocent Sin on PSP, and the other one didn't make it over.
So the way I've had it described to me is right now they have no concrete plans for a 1 and 2 collection, but that's because they're trying to get these 3 out. Because, like, let's be honest, these will make more money than anything they do with 1 2 duology. So it makes sense to get the big stuff out first. Hence why that's, like, honestly, if it was me, I would have released 3 and 4 first and then 5. But let's be real, more people want 5. So taking that logic, they have 2 kind of situations they're looking at. I think they're going to look at the sales numbers for how do these ports do for 3, 4, 5, and then decide is it worth bringing them to multiplat. And then also they have a bit of a backup card where right now Sony has been talking to a lot of them and being like, hey, if you want to put your PSP games or your PS1 games on PlayStation 4 and 5, they have that backwards compatible version. Like I just messed around with the because that finally launched in the West, and I was playing around with Resident Evil, Tekken, I guess it was another one, Oddworld, and I spent the most time with Wild Arms. And like honestly, like for that, it's a really good emulator. Like it's very fast. It's got a lot of good options. It's like the rewind stuff and the trophies are nice. Like that's pretty much the most stuff people would want from it. The only caveat is it's only going to be on PS4 and 5, and then people are going to be out in the dark for a little bit. But I think it's not a matter of is it ever going to happen. It's just going to be how does it ever happen.
Yeah, I just had a really stupid idea. So right now there's no confirmation that the games are coming to PS4. What if they just put like vanilla Persona 4, P3 FES, and P5 doesn't matter. Just put those ones on the PS Plus Deluxe thing, and that's how they port them.
It is interesting. Because they did did remove P5 Vanilla from PlayStation Plus Collection already. I will say that is possible, at least in terms of like, hey, if you want to try to sell this or make some money from it, they definitely would, because like if we're being honest, Atlas has no reason to port especially vanilla P4, but like Fez kind of has a bit of a reason, but like they know more people are going to enjoy, or like the most modern version is portable. So like that would be a way of like, hey, here you go, here's the game with trophies. Like they've shown that like they're fine selling those games, because like I even think something like Digital Devil Saga and the Raito games are probably going to get that treatment, because like as much as I'd love those games to get an HD remaster, I don't think they can justify it.
Yeah, because I feel like after Nocturne HD crashed and burned and stuff, I feel they were probably planning to do more PS2 remasters, but then after the reception that Nocturne got, they were just like, you know what? Maybe we should just not do this. Because I don't know how long Nocturne HD was in development for, but it looked like they just kind of threw the PS2 ISO into Unity or whatever, and then just kind of upscaled it.
Nocturne
And
HD is
then
a weird
later
one.
when-
Nocturne HD was in development for years, but it feels like it was made in 6 months.
It feels like it was supposed to be on the PS3, like
it
feels
does.
like one
It feels like one of those PS3 era HD like half remasters.
Yeah.
Like how you would get like Ubisoft like Splinter Cell trilogy for like $30.
Yeah, because that's just a. Yeah, because I could totally see them doing that, but I also Atlas was really weird with the PS3, where they totally could have put like Persona 4 and Raito 2 or whatever on the PS3 and just released it on the PS2 as well, and it would have looked bad, but the hardware was out at the time. They probably could have done it, but they probably just didn't like the PS3 is what it looked like, because they did like what Catherine and Persona 5 vanilla, and that was about it. And they just threw the other ones on the store, not in all regions, because I live in Australia, and we didn't get Persona 4 or either of the Raito games or Eternal Punishment
Yeah,
on
so
the
that
PS.
would have been Eternal Punishment, is because that never got released at least. But yeah, so Persona 4
And it never will.
Persona 4 Square would have had to have released it, and I don't think Square and Atlas were gonna want to work together for a PS3 thing. I don't even know if you guys got the Devil Summoner games over there, or if you did, I forget like who would have published them.
I think I'd have to look it up.
It might have been like
because
Koei.
I don't know, because Atlas doesn't like Australia, is what I found. Is that they didn't give us Devil Survivor Overclocked, like, at all. They didn't give us Eternal Punishment, or didn't give any PAL regions Eternal Punishment, and they probably never will. Because that's stupid. But I don't know, did we get Revelations? I don't even know if we got Revelations.
You did not get Revelations. If it
So
makes
we
you
can get any of the...
If it makes you feel
Yeah.
any better, no one in Europe got Devil Survivor 1. You only got Overclocked, but at least you got Overclocked.
But and in Australia, we didn't even get Overclocked. We just didn't get Devil Survivor 1 at all.
Oh, you're right, because Ghostlight only did Overclocked in Europe. They didn't do that for...
And you can't buy Overclocked
Yep.
from Ghostlight anymore. They've got a site. They say it's up for sale, but they've removed the buy button. So I can't, because Ghostlight's website was probably made in like
They
5
actually
minutes.
just took down their website. They're actually trying to revamp it, but no, they have like no copies.
Oh, really?
They have no copies left of that. Although I will say, I did look it up. I was right. Koei Tecmo, or I guess Koei at the time, did do Devil Summoner in Australia.
Yeah, but I just hope, like, hopefully, because there is a quote-unquote HD remake thing for Overclock made by a fan. But because I love my 3DS, but I can't actually play Overclock. I can. Oh, hold on, give me.
Attack of the 3DS. I think he had to go.
No, I just have to. Yeah, I have to go very, very, very soon.
You're good. Yeah, you want to get your final point out and then
Yeah.
dip out?
Yeah, Atlas should stop hating on Australia because, I mean, we only have like 3 SMT fans, as in I saw 3 people buy SMT5 on launch day, and that was it. But
hey, I'll tell you what. At least you guys had an easier time getting Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition pre-ordered.
And SMT5 because they EB Games, EB Games, they decided that they're gonna include like scalper stuff,
Oh,
so
yeah,
only
like
one
the,
person.
bots and
But
stuff.
yeah, I need to run away like now.
No, you're good. Thanks for dropping on, man. Have a good one. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, bye.
All right, next up, I'm gonna think. I think I had. Next up was Snack Hugo, or Snack Hugo.
Second one was good. I think that was a good attempt.
Well, please correct me. What is the pronunciation here?
It's a Snackugo.
Okay, gotcha. So
So you were close. You were right. You were right there.
what's on your mind? How's life treating you today?
what like I think like 2 weeks ago, a lot of people were saying, you know what, 2022 has been a pretty slow year. Like, not a lot of announcements, nothing really crazy. Then we got that state of play, and Eternites got dropped from the depths. Didn't see it coming. I've been following that game's development since it was called Kafka, like 4 years ago.
Yeah, the last update I think the dev had posted was 2019, maybe 2020. It was like
I think at the end of 2020,
it'd been a
or maybe
long
even
time.
last year. Maybe it was
No,
last
I,
year.
I knew there was nothing last year. There was over a year of silence for sure. But yeah,
But we got something that said we're going all out in 2022. We're going all out attack in 2022. It was like a tweet. Studio side must have
the
posted.
funniest thing about that is I've actually known that they were going to be announced at a state of play. Like, and I have a Q&A coming up with the developer of Eternite soon, which I'll be excited because I'm gonna poll and see like what other people want to ask them and stuff. But I've been talking to him like in private and like just to show how long in advance some of these things take in terms of deals and whatnot, even for like a pretty small like dev team like that. He's been in talks with like getting this debuted because like really it's been talked about online, but this was its real debut with Sony for like over 2 years now, and like that's how long it's taken for it to finally come. So it wasn't like when I saw Eternites I was like, whoa, that's crazy. It was like, oh my god, this took forever. But I'm glad to see the reception was mostly positive.
Oh, I am so excited. I have it wishlisted on like every platform you could wishlist it on. I am so ready for that because it's like Strikers kind of gave you like that hack and slash quote unquote experience with Persona 5 Strikers, but like when you close your eyes and picture a hack and slash Persona game, this is kind of what it looks like. You know what I mean? Like this is like the vision. This is the vision. And then a week later, like I'll be honest, like I was definitely one of those guys that was just like, yeah, it's like Persona coming to PC, it's just never gonna happen. It's like it's like the Metroid Prime 4 rumors, like, or the Metroid Prime trilogy rumors. Like it's just never gonna happen. It's just gonna show up.
Whoa. Snag, I'm sorry. We have breaking, not SMT related news. I'm upset. I should have had like something break my legs off in the middle of this show. Lollipop Chainsaw is coming back in an HD release. What timeline am I living in? Oh my god. By the folks at Dragama Games. Suda will not be involved because Suda now works with like, I think it's NetEase or whatever, but wow. All 5 of us Lollipop Chainsaw fans to celebrate the 10th anniversary. This is actually getting put back out again. That is absolutely insane. I'm not sure if you're a Lollipop Chainsaw fan.
What was the name of the studio? What was the name of the studio?
Well, the studio publishing it, I'm not sure if they're developing the port, is let me get back pulled up again. Drag DRAGAMI Games. Dragami Games.
You ever heard of them before?
No, I'm looking into it now. I'm just like as a I mean, I love a lot of Suda's games, but like the fact that James Gunn was also tied into it was like what I was like. This game has a 0% chance of ever coming out. No way, no how. Let's see here. So this company has worked with
living in the best timeline, Spence.
I'm
living in the best timeline.
Until I find out it's like until I find out it's going to be like that Killer 7 PC port, where I was like, all right,
it's gonna be
Killer 7,
or it's gonna
back. And then it never.
Or it's gonna be like
PC.
that. It's gonna be like that $200 Soul Hackers 2 Collector's Edition. Both of us pre-ordered.
See that,
but it's like significantly overpriced.
That's fine. I would pay $200 for Lollipop Chainsaw, but only if I can play it on consoles. Like if you tell me Lollipop Chainsaw is just gonna come out on PC, I'll be like, well, that's cool. It's kind of like El Shaddai was another one of like, wow, what a weird re-release. I never would have expected it in a million years. But like when they kind of only come on PC, it's like, all right, well, I love you, insert niche game series, but I don't love you enough to start gaming on PC. But it is like one of those things where like I'm at least glad it's like it's happening, because I'd rather Killer 7 live on in a random PC port no one remembers than be stuck on the GameCube.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah,
the
breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news.
Back to that. Back to the main topic.
Yeah, back to what I was saying. Like, like Persona's like I've been on this before. We talked I think the last time you and I spoke was the SMT5 Collector's Edition controversy, like almost a year ago
That was,
now.
yeah, almost I think like 9 months ago or so or more.
It was like around I think it was around August, September where it all got dropped. Yeah, I think it was around September. So, I like Persona like means a lot to me, and like I own all the games. I like went out and bought a PS TV so I could play Portable at some point because it's the only one I haven't played yet. And I'm ready. Like I'm ready for it. Like I was so shocked, and I was like kind of meandering through that showcase. You know, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Oh, that looks kind of neat. Oh, this is pretty nice. And then Phil Spencer came up, and I was just like, he's coming on right after they showed the super Japanese game from the producer of Bloodborne in that Wulong game.
I don't know how Koei Tecmo or Xbox didn't include like that guy being involved, because I feel like if you had said in that trailer from the makers of Neo and Bloodborne, it would have hit a lot harder.
That's like when, I mean, maybe not to the same impact, but that's like Elden Ring original reveal story by George R.R. Martin. It's almost that level of an announcement.
100%.
And then he was going on, and then he said, "Oh yeah, we're like really interested in bringing Japanese games to our platform." And I was like, "There's only one series you could say that with." And then he said Atlas. I was like, "Yeah, I know it's coming."
Just imagine in like an alternate timeline, Phil Spencer steps out on stage. I'm proud to announce the Trails of Cold Steel series is coming to Xbox.
Xbox Game Pass. I don't think they would have been able to recover, and like, especially with like the PS5 like has been like you still can't find one. The Switch is like the third highest selling console of all time or something crazy like that, or fifth or something. Like Xbox needed a W, and I'm not saying like the Series X wasn't a W, but like this was like for like the hardest of the hardcore who will show up, who don't even play Persona games, they recognize like this is a household name that's coming to Game Pass, and like the way they're announcing it on PC is through their platform, even though press release stuff. But yeah, no, I'm super excited. My question for you though is, Persona 3 Portable is the version we're getting. Does this solidify it as the definitive version of Persona 3?
I would say I've always thought Portable was like the definitive version. It's the one that I'll have to double check. I think it sold more than the PS2 version. Because I knew that one like sold like absolute hotcakes, but I'll say it's the most modern. It's got the best like options in terms of like social link stuff, and honestly, in terms of like how I'd want to replay those games, even if you like remade all of Portable in 3D, like in the engine of Fez, I would still probably prefer the way Portable is laid out.
So I'm coming in from the perspective, I've only played Fest, and like, I don't want to be that guy, right? You know what I mean? Like, I hate to be that guy, but like, AI controlled party members is like, it's not great. You know what I mean? Like, it's functional, and it was actually like, if you really like, with hindsight, you know, in mind, you could tell like if you had played this back when it originally came out, it's pretty advanced for, you know, early, mid, late 2000s. So that's pretty cool, but like just having that like precision, especially in a game that is as hard as Persona 3. Persona 3 is not an easy game. You know what I mean? So it's like that. I think with the 2 playable routes with like brand new social links, exclusive music in the Fem route, no answer. I agree with you. I think it is the definitive way. Even though I haven't played it yet, it's just like I can recognize that it was like Fest was the first of its kind. They didn't do this for the first 2 Persona games. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, I'm excited. These games actually like got me into content creation. Like I started a YouTube channel because of Persona 5 Royal. So like,
do you know which version you want to play? Like either PC, console, Xbox, PS5.
PC. So I'm gonna get if they make it physical for PS5, I'm gonna get it for PS5. I'll probably get it anyways, but I want to play it on PC because I don't know. I think you mentioned something. You said that the trailers were running at 30, like the footage used in the trailer was 30 FPS.
Yep.
So when I watched it, maybe I was seeing it wrong, but when I watched it, at least the portable port, like there was a shot of that femme character activating her persona in combat. That looked 60 FPS. There was a point.
Portable could have slipped by, but I'm gonna be real. That's one where I'm like, you know what? You can run at 10 frames. That's okay. That one don't need to run that fast. But yeah, portable I expect to, because I know Golden supports 60 FPS. I know it had trouble at launch, but portable I expect to. But at least the trailer, when I looked back at like what it was like coming out as, it was showing it at like 30 FPS, but like the entire stream was, to be fair, in their trailer upload. So it could be, it just might not have been like, because obviously P5 wasn't, so it was probably just playing back like other pre-recorded footage for it. So I don't think portable is a no-go for it, but yeah, at least right now we haven't had anything confirmed for what they're gonna run at, and since they're not coming out till next year, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think portable is at least a lock of like, yeah, it's a PSP game. There's nothing stopping this.
It's just because Golden does. If Golden didn't on PC and hasn't for the last 2 years, like I would be like, yeah, we're probably not getting 60 FPS. But like even Royal, like Strikers ran at 60 FPS on PC, and that's where I played it. Obviously, different developers and stuff. So, but I'm pretty confident that we're gonna see 60 FPS. Like, I think it's like it's becoming more and more an industry standard with current gen consoles, especially. Like that's like something people request. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of weird how the narrative has shifted from like we want HD 4K graphics like 3, 4, 5 years ago to you need to have a performance about 60 FPS there now. Like you need to have that.
No, definitely.
And these games don't need it, right? Like they're turn-based games. They're like not very like input heavy, but like it looks really, really nice when it's at 60 FPS. Like Strikers was a dream to control.
I mean, it is that weird thing of like, obviously we can live without it, but I think because we're living in a time where there are so many games with so many like options, especially on so many different platforms we have now. Like it's not like we are entitled to expect it. It's just one of those things where it's like there's no harm in having it there. So it's like why just be stuck with like the bare minimum?
Yeah, and I was actually I saw, because the portable controversy has been nonstop since the announcement. And I think you're familiar with this content creator, Nom's Compendium.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted out like, this is why I prefer the combat in portable to FES. And like I replied and I said, I think the reason they chose portable is because one of the big reasons was you can't put out a game that doesn't have direct control in it. Like that just won't fly in 2022. Like gamers, like for better or worse, are kind of entitled now, and like if like the review came for the port, people would just be like, oh, there's no like direct control, this is bad, this makes the game bad, when they don't understand how to use the tactic system and like don't have the patience to learn how to use it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and at the same point, like if Atlas isn't wanting to dig into the code and change it themselves, their best bet is then just to go to the one version of the game that has that.
Yeah, and like maybe I'm being ignorant, and maybe I'm being hopeful and optimistic, but I would imagine them not putting the extra time to combine FES and portable to give you like a real definitive version of Persona 3 is down to them doing something that'll get announced at the concert in October.
Yeah, man, I will say, especially with this kind of blowing their load during the summer, I am very, very curious to see what they decide to do, and I hope it's not just something as simple as like, hey, P6 logo, we'll see you in a year.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping like, yeah, it's gotta be like first night it could be the logo reveal. Second night would have to be like a trailer, like the opening intro when you start the game. You know how each Persona game has one of those.
Yeah.
Most Megami Tensei games have those.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's great times, Spence. I'm so beyond ready for October. Like this is aligning perfectly for my content schedule. Like I got Lost Judgment, I'm almost done with that, and then I'll have done Yakuza 7, Judgment, and Lost Judgment, and then I'm gonna try and bang through all the Persona games leading up to 5 in October for PC.
No, for sure. I mean, really, all we need now is just remaster remake of Snowboard Kids for December, and I can just off myself now.
I think we got a lot though. Like in 2023, like imagine January 2023 Eternites to like in the middle of Persona 5 and Persona 3 releasing on console.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm excited, man. Well, thank you for waiting. If you want to tell people where they can find you, feel free to tell everyone where they can check you out and stuff.
Sure, you can reach me on Twitter at Snackugo. Just replace the O with a 0 because the guy who has my actual @ that I want hasn't tweeted in like 7 years, and no matter how many times I report him, Twitter won't give me the username. And you can reach my YouTube channel at Snackugo. I actually do have a Megami Tensei video up there. I did my first video with Shin Megami Tensei 5. Talked about how I really liked it. I can't speak for everybody else. How it ascended JRPGs going forward. If you like Yakuza stuff, I got Yakuza and Judgment out there. And yeah, I really appreciate you having me on, Spence. Spence, I'm hoping, my goal now as a content creator is I'm going to tag you in my next upload. And if I can get a retweet, that's it. I've made it. I've peaked.
Oh, you're getting it. I mean, the amount I gotta tell you, if you @ me on Twitter and I don't interact with it in any form, that means I probably have just died. So yeah, if you tag me, I will gladly share it.
I really appreciate that. So Lost Judgment, I'm hoping to have it done at some point the end of this month, if not July. But I'm near the end of it. Have you ever played any of those games, Spence?
Yeah, actually, I got into both of them last year before Lost Judgment came out, and I think like 3/4 done with the remaster, or not I guess it is probably more of a remaster than anything. The PS5 version of the first Lost Judgment. Well, Judge Eyes. Yeah, Judge Eyes.
Yeah, they're both fantastic games. I'll DM you on Twitter the link to my Judgment video once you finish the game because there is spoilers. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm excited to finish 1, get into 2. I already got the Kaito files ready.
It's so good, Spence. You're gonna have a good time with it. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, man, for waiting. Have a good rest of your night.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.
All right. I think next up was Dr. Luma. If you want to unmute yourself, tell us what's on your mind.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Luma. How's it going today?
It's going great.
So what would you like to talk about, or what is your burning either topic or question you got?
Nothing really. I just really like Persona 3. It's something I'm really excited for right now. Because I haven't played that yet.
Nice.
I'm really excited to get that.
Yeah, I've honestly been kind of surprised how many people I've seen after the Xbox announcement who were like, "Oh my god, I can finally play Persona 3," which is kind of funny because, like, I mean, like, to be fair, you can play Persona 3 in a lot of places legally and otherwise, but like, this will be nice of like being like, hey, because 4 being available on PC made a lot of sense to me in my brain because I was like, it was pretty much just Vita until that point. Whereas, like, this one, more consoles, other things like that. Where are you thinking of playing it on? Like, what platform?
My PlayStation. That's why I was really worried about, like, it showing up on Xbox and no information about PlayStation 5 version.
Also, I will say this. The lack of mention for PS4, I've yet to take that
weird.
as a bad thing. I honestly just think that's a typo. And
I think they just aren't mentioning it.
Because it's a weird one of, like, they're clearly not going to re-release P5R on PS4, and 4 and 3 haven't released there already. So, the way I've had it basically explained to me is this year's all about P5. Obviously, that's not going to come to PS4. I've heard, even though it is planning on coming to PS5, the PS5 version might not come out this year, and it might just be Xbox PC. So kind of similar to the next-gen exclusivity like a Dragon had. I think that would be fine, honestly. Like, Xbox needs whatever wins it can get this year in terms of exclusivity.
Yeah.
But 3 and 4 next year will be released at the same time, and that'll be all platforms all at once. In a, like, 20... It was funny. It was originally supposed to be a 25th anniversary, like, collector's edition thing, where they were going to sell 3 and 4 together. I don't know. I mean, they could still just call it the Persona double pack or whatever. Like
Yeah.
it's like, if you told me, because I've been following these games for like since 2020, if you told me we were gonna have to wait till 2023 to get P4G and P3P, I'd be like, I don't know, that seems kind of long for a PSP and a Vita game, but here we are.
Because I honestly just think they're doing it because of Soul Hackers. I feel like that because they don't want to hurt Soul Hackers
really,
more.
you want to space them out, like, which was funny because I think like people were in that same spot last year, of like, well, P4G could have come out last year, but SMT5 was out. Like, we've given ourselves so many excuses, but like, it is a thing of like, hey, we're literally 2 months away from Soul Hackers. Like, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't think they want to like totally sideline Soul Hackers because they do want to make that a big thing, and they need to because people need to like. They want people to try it. They just released like all the Persona games this year. People really are going to.
Yeah, and plus my gut honestly is still telling me like once they kind of come off the Persona high of this month, I still would not be surprised if Phil Spencer comes out and says, "Hey, Soul Hackers, day 1 on Game Pass."
Yeah, that's very. I can see that.
Like if they've already committed to like the amount of money, because I'm sure it's an ungodly amount of money they had to do for this. Like,
Yeah.
Soul Hackers would be infinitely cheaper and would be a lot quicker and would be a big boost for them in a time where they have nothing really big coming out in August.
Yeah.
Trying to think of what there was one more that I was gonna say for you here, but for you, I assume you're mostly kind of like, if they were to just do a PS5 version and no PS4. Would that lead you to kind of then wanting to wait until you get a PS5? Would you think about playing it on
They have a
Xbox or
PS5,
PSV?
so-
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not as worried about them saying PS5 only or not mentioning PS4.
That is
So,
the
but
funny
still.
one, and then it kind of comes up when people are like, well, they better be like, well, they better have it on PS4 because only about 20 million of us have PS5s right now.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. How they aren't widely available because I only got mine because the PlayStation like invite thing, the PS Plus. Always I got mine.
I will say this: if you told me what will be harder to get in your lifetime, a PS5, an Xbox Series X, or a special edition for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I would not have thought it was going to be Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah, sure. Those. Oh god.
But yeah, man. Unless you did you have anything else you wanted to say, or want to tell
that's
people where they
really
can
it.
find you or whatever?
Nah, that's all. All I'm talking about.
Well, I appreciate you for waiting. Have a good rest of your night and listening to the show.
Yep. You too.
All right, I'm gonna go for next up. We have that so-called edgy username that is no longer here. Edgy Kid. I knew it was something. What's up, Edgy Kid?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm getting ready to go to college soon. Graduated.
Nice. Are you enjoying your summer?
Yes. Yeah, so far doing good.
So, what's on your mind? What's your question? What's your topic you want to talk about? Anything at all?
This is a perfect way to start off a sentence. I don't want to be a King Goomba, but I was a bittersweet with the Persona. It's like, ooh, you're like, ooh, yeah, like, hey, it just went outside of PlayStation. Other man, he's like, whoa, I'm a Switch owner. I don't have any other console.
So
I don't have any.
I've had an interesting thing with this of. I understand the disappointment, anger I wouldn't say, but disappointment I definitely get with the Switch fan base. But it kind of goes back to other things I've said, like with Soul Hackers, of like, if you are upset that these games are not on Switch, I understand. But let's be honest, aren't there a million RPGs on the Switch you probably have yet played or are still coming out exclusive this year on it?
Me personally, I haven't really got a lot of RPGs. I honestly don't. But I feel like majority fan base wise, yeah, it's like oh yeah me. But like, well, funny enough, like last year I was considering getting an Xbox. I'm leaning towards like, hey, they got Dead Rising re-release stuff, and like, yeah, and all these. And now it's like, I guess I should get a Xbox for like Soul Hackers 2. I understand, but for some like, part of me is hoping for Switch. Part of me is like, They don't get it yet. Just don't get it.
Soul Hackers will definitely happen on Switch, but it'll be like Demon Slayer, where you gotta wait like a year or so, where it's like that's gonna be a long wait, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'm not patient enough for that.
Yeah, but it's like with like that's what I consider Xbox used to. All these now, it's like, oh, like, should I? But like that's that hope I just get with Persona. Like, it's that one hope.
No, and I mean, and I get it, and I'm actually thinking of working on a video that's going to be like probably like 5 games that Switch owners can look forward to that aren't Persona or whatever. Just because it's like, I think of like other ones that like people, or I mean, I feel like I could do one for past or like present ones as well. Because like, have you played all of? I'm assuming you've probably played SMT5 at least, right?
Yes. Oh yeah.
So you got that. Like, what about Tokyo Mirage Sessions?
Yeah, I played it all the way through too. You know, I'm quick on that.
Easy. So yeah, like, and then obviously the big ones, and everyone also knows about the Xenoblade ones. But I think people are sleeping on Live Alive. Live Alive is going to be a big RPG next month. Digimon will also be. That's more of a kind of like a different one with a strategy for it. But like, just something about like the Switch, man, because there's so many RPGs always coming out on it. I'm always like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, Persona would do good on it, but it's also like. Like, I don't know anyone who's got a Switch who's like, I'm all caught up. There's no games I need to play anymore. I can only play Persona 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, but the feeling is like, oh, cool. I can like. It's like the feeling is like, yo, you play like any other Persona games. I like a Chili's. It feels good.
So what they're telling you is you need to give Valve $1,000 for a Steam Deck, and then in 9 years they'll ship it to you.
No, I'm not. I'm leaning towards Xbox with this. I've been leaning towards Xbox. This is like more pushing, but I'm still hoping the Persona thing. Like,
how about this? I don't know how you feel about streaming stuff for it. Do you think you would at least be morbidly curious enough to try streaming Persona on like your phone with their like xCloud thing?
I mean, streams like the internet part. Like, I mean, I got cellular data. I mean, I can see, but it's like, do I want to go through the trouble? Do I really want to go through the trouble of all that?
I mean, I can understand. There's a lot of nice things of just, you lift up your Switch, you press home, you're there, you're playing. You don't got to worry about connections, nothing, things like that. I definitely see it. It's never a thing of like, I don't get why people want it. I've always understood why people want it on there. But it is one of those things where I think it's such a low priority for Atlas because they know no matter when they release it, people will buy it.
But
it's not like people are going to be like, well, you released it on Xbox, I'm never going to buy it now.
Yeah. Hey, Xbox, it's nice, great. It's really, hey, it's like you're doing something like a console that's never really known for RPGs. Like, it's nice. This is like great marketing with them. I can see it. I was a little bittersweet. Like, bittersweet with it. Oh.
Well, I think
I'm still hoping like.
No, yeah, I definitely get you. I think I'm cutting out a little bit on here with the with our connection, but I wanted to see anything else you want to say before I get to our last 3 people.
Was I going to say something? No, not really. Yeah. Well, crossing my fingers on the announcement.
Hey, I'll say what, man. If it's at that unannounced Switch Direct this month, I will not be complaining. I will be there. Any platform, any release, well, except Stadia. Anything else, I'll be there.
I forgot about your tweets and some guy like I guess like
oh my gosh. Man, yeah, Discord is making you very robofied, so I think we'll have to stop it there. But if you want to type out your thing, because yeah, it's pretty much just turning you into like super robot voice, man. But I appreciate you for waiting, man. Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Of course, the goodbye was good, but Cross Ren, I think you're next. I'm very unconfident for all of these orders. How are you doing tonight, Cross Ren?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good. I thought of you recently, not for a good reason though. I came across a very interesting Danganronpa fan
Okay.
fan
Put
thing.
myself in the mindset.
This was a weird discovery of mine. I've seen a lot of weird things on the internet. This was a Danganronpa fan comic that was all about. Oh God, I always forget his name. Well, not his name. I always forget her name.
Describe the character.
It's the girl from Ultra Despair Girls who's not Toko.
Oh, Kamaro.
Kamara. So it was her and Kaede, and the whole point of it is just they find a guy who's obsessed with thighs. To which I just thought this was the funniest concept, because for me I'm like, I get thighs, but no, this guy took thighs to a whole nother level, and it made me think
exactly
like,
what you're talking about.
and was like, am I missing something? Like, are they like the thick thigh girls of the series? Like, why these two specific characters known for their thighs? It was so intriguing to me, and I thought, does Cross Ren know about this thigh comic?
I do. The reason why those two characters, I don't know. The artist just drew them like that. So, drew them. So, that's all I can tell you as the resident Danganronpa fan.
That's okay. So I needed to make you and everyone in chat as uncomfortable as possible that first time. So thank you for waiting. I'm gonna assume it's just been 9,000 hours. But what's your either question or topic you wanted to talk about?
Well, of course, it's going to be about Persona on the Xbox. The first thing I have to say, FMC makes her first home console debut, so round of applause to that, finally.
HD FMC, no less. We're going to see... Well, God, I don't even remember. Who was the voice of her? I feel like it was Laura Bailey, probably.
I think it was her, I think.
But yeah, her in 4K, my body's not ready for it, but I'm
yeah.
I gotta say, I've never been more excited to see a PlayStation Portable game at an Xbox show in my entire life. Like, put that into perspective. Like, hey, what's gonna make this Xbox showcase really pop? Kojima coming out on stage to not announce anything, and a PSP game showing up. That'll really pop off with the kids.
Yeah, what will make Xbox great? Putting some PlayStation exclusives on it.
I mean, hey, if out of all the Xbox, out of all the PlayStation exclusives they could have stolen. Like, they stole some big ones, man. Like, you know that you've done something right when your announcement makes a change.org petition from the other side of things. By the way, I was right. It is still Laura Bailey. And I did want to say something, because I mentioned something earlier about content will not be changed. I saw something that was really funny that, like, I'm surprised I haven't seen more people talk about. It's like, someone was like, oh, yeah, I hope they redub the whole game.
Oh, yeah, like,
there is no way in hell they're going to do that. They will, as much as I'm sure some people will be mad that Vic Mignogna is still in this game, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, no, they would never do that. Like, can you imagine the idea of just being like, all right, everybody, we've recasted just Junpei for no reason at all.
I mean, speaking of redubbing, I guess random thing that I didn't have in mind, how do you think the audio would sound with the release of Nocturne HD? People say the audio is compressed. Will the audio be even more compressed with a PSP game?
No, the PSP files are really good. Like P3P, especially because it is so much more of just a visual novel than an RPG. Its assets are really clean, and from what we've seen with the AI upscaling, I'm actually surprised how good the portraits looked. I was worried the portraits would look chunky. The portraits look good. I'm not sure if they're actually using the native scans, because they have all those scans, and like they can do 4K scans of everything. I think that'll be fine. The music we already know is going to be good. The cutscenes are already okay, but it is one of those things of like, it's a difference when you're streaming something of like a PSP game where it's like, what's it actually going to be? So hard to see. Like, I'd love it if they found like the original masters, especially for all the new cutscenes with P3P's like opening and stuff. Like, that would be fun. But yeah, audio, everything like that, audio will be fine. I'll be curious about this. Will they include, for the first time, the Japanese voice cast in P3P? We've never had the Japanese voice cast available in English.
How much quality are they putting into this?
I think it's safe to assume you're going to get the level of quality the PC port of Golden got, and that also had both Japanese and English.
Then I believe you will.
Yeah, so I
Well, they'll give you-
I
they'll give
would
you a little
like to see
option
that,
for
even,
it.
even though God knows I'm not going to change it to Japanese. I got to stick with my boy
Oh,
Yuri
same.
Lowenthal.
Yeah, but what I was thinking was like, will the games come into a collection? Okay, if they're coming to PS5, which is odd, not PS4, but will they be part of that PlayStation Plus thing, or will they be individual releases with a price tag?
That's a toughie. So, most times when publishers have a deal on Game Pass or Plus, you're not allowed to double dip, with some exceptions. Shadow Warrior 4 did launch on PlayStation Plus and Xbox, but it's not Persona. I feel like with the amount of money Xbox has spent, they wouldn't allow this to just be a PlayStation Plus release. And if they did, it would have to be with a big caveat or something. So even if it comes eventually, I think at launch, all of these will only be on Game Pass with Xbox and PC. Just because, like, there's two sides of it, too. A, Microsoft probably doesn't want people to get tempted over by whatever new PlayStation Plus stuff there is. And number two, Atlas fans who don't want to buy an Xbox were already going to buy it anyways. Like, we're not really trained to wait for PlayStation Plus, which honestly made it really funny when we got Persona 5 Strikers as quickly as we did.
Yeah, I'm just curious, or just wondering why they said PS5 and not 4.
I think 5 just due to the fact that if they said 4, then it'd be like, are you reselling us P5R again for some reason? Like,
Oh, yeah.
it's that thing of like announcing a game for the PS4, even though there are way more people out there in the world with PS4s. PS4 and Xbox One games aren't sexy. Like, these systems are almost 2+ years old. So like I always have to correct myself of like, PS5 isn't next gen. It was next gen in 2020. Like, PS5 is just current gen. So like they'll clearly support PS4 just because like there's no reason not to. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's one of those weird ones of like, so like it's not like a Switch situation where like when a game comes out on Switch, even though that takes a lot of work, you understand where that audience is for it. Whereas the PS4 base is just kind of like, hey, if you can't get a PS5, you're just probably stuck with the PS4. Then that's pretty much all there is to it.
Yeah. Is this the turn where Atlas is Soul Hackers going to be the last Atlas game on PS4? Are they going to start moving to making PS5 and current gen, as you say, games now?
That is tough, just because the console marketplace has changed and is still changing so much. I will say this, as of right now, I know that ReFantasy is being targeted at PS4, at least. I know that for sure. And I'm sure whatever form of Persona 6 they're making is planned for PS4. But both of those, depending on how long they take to come out, I could see getting dropped. Just because it is one of those things of, even though there is 100+ million PS4s out there, you look at something that is a big game that is on both, like Gran Turismo or Horizon Forbidden West, most of those sales come from PS5. Because people want to play them on their big new system. It's tough. It's just because like I don't know what their upcoming roadmap is. I'd say for brand new stuff, like a Soul Hackers 2, yes, that's probably going to be one of the last big Xbox PS4 games you see. But, sorry, the last big Atlas PS4 games you see. But at the same time, I could see, because of how weird the console market is and how scarce everything is still, that they stick with the console longer than they probably plan to.
I mean, shoot, they did that for P4. Came out 2 years after the PS3 launch.
Yeah, even the same thing with PSP. They stuck with the PSP literally past when the Vita was out.
Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, someone who's played Fez and Vanilla 4. I gotta specify that. If it doesn't come to PS4 or Switch, I'm not mad. I've played these games. I'm sure people who have a PS4 may or may not have a PS3, and like the only thing you're losing out is the new content. But you could look up the new content if you wanted. Just if you wanted to see the new content for portable and golden, but playing the original is not a bad thing. You can get about the same experience for it. So it's on PS3. But
No,
I'm not mad.
I definitely get that. At least for you, then, my last thing I would ask you, for someone out there who does like to play on the Switch as much as they do, what's going to be your cope game? What's your game this year that you're like, hey, I don't have Soul Hackers or P4, or 5, or 3. What are you looking forward to in their stay?
Me personally, for
Yeah.
Switch, since I did miss out on pre-ordering the Switch version of the Sound Files 2, the next Switch game I'm excited for is Three Hopes. But I guess that's not a JRPG, but still a Switch game I'm like, I gotta play.
Have you tried the demo for Three Hopes yet?
I have.
I will say
I'm
this,
like,
I am surprised how much they are leaning into the tactics side of things, even more than Fire Emblem
Oh
Warriors
yeah,
did.
that's why I was like, I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game minus Strikers, but that's kind of just, hey, let's put a lot more enemies in an action game and add personas. But I guess I haven't played a traditional Dynasty Warriors game, and I'm like, yep, this is still Fire Emblem. So I'm like, I'm excited for it. Yeah, it made me realize, oh yeah, I do love Three Houses a lot. I just haven't been able to talk about it as much because I'm affiliated with Persona and Danganronpa fans, so that's what I
actually
talk about
why
the
the
most.
stream was like 30 minutes late. I was just finishing up a battle that I was like, this won't be that long, and it was that thing of like, I know I could have stopped, but I was like, I gotta keep going. I'm so close.
That's the Fire Emblem experience.
Yeah, I'm glad I finally finished up the game that I'd been. God, I feel like I've been playing like this game for like. I'd only really been playing, ironically, another Switch exclusive Warriors game. I'd been playing Tokenrambu Warriors, but like I got that like less than 2 days before it came out officially, and I was like, I don't know, how long could it be? 30 something hours later, and I was like, okay, well,
Nice.
Fire Emblem had to wait, unfortunately, but I'm not sure, but my plan is basically to just force myself off any other console and just marathon through Fire Emblem Three Houses and pray to God I can get there before Three Hopes comes out.
I mean, you don't have to do all the routes.
Oh God, no, yeah,
all that lore.
no way in hell, yeah. I'll be lucky if I finish the Edelgard route, but I'm hoping I can.
Okay, you're the best route. So you're playing the best route. So good job getting the best one.
I picked it because it was red.
Honestly, same.
But yeah, thanks again for waiting so much, man. And any last words or anything you want to tell people before we get to the last guest?
Nope. I'm just gonna play the Sound Files. It has not Danganronpa, Persona voice actors in it.
Hey, you never know.
So
you never know. It might have them.
Oh well, yeah. It has Erica Harlicher. So you like on. But there you go. Play Sound Files.
All right. And our final guest, number one N64 fan, Chiaki Fanami. What is going on, my man? How is the summer heat treating you?
Very crazy right now.
I was driving home. Yesterday was the hottest day in Kansas, where I live. It was the hottest day and the highest low in 164 years. I was like, I have like a 20-minute like ride from my work to my house, and I was like sweating with AC on. I was like sweating like through my eyeballs. It was a truly horrifying experience.
Oh man, I can't imagine that. I mean, here in Arizona, it's like in the hundreds right now.
See, but it's different because you have a dry heat. I miss the dry heat. This is just humid. There's no dry heat in the Midwest. It's just hot.
Mm-hmm.
But first I want to say appreciate you for waiting. B, what's the big thing you either wanted to talk about on your mind or question?
So yeah, I am very excited that the Persona games are going to be going multi-platform. Though I would get them on Xbox, but I know about the whole DRM stuff that Xbox been having issues with lately. But but it is cool that they're coming to PlayStation as well. Though I do have one question about it's for Royal, for that it might be coming to PS5. Do you think that they might give it for those who already got the PS4 versions like a free upgrade?
My gut tells me Atlas would not give that to us for free. That seems too. I think maybe a discount, but also Atlas is not really known for free upgrades like that. I would kind of just expect that they just they just sell it to us at no discount and we have to buy it again for $60 on PS5.
And also, if they do, do you think they hope they would add like save data transfer? Because
Save
'cause I
data, I'd say that's just lazy if they don't. Like money, I get save data. Yeah, I would hope that there's save data. My honest hope, like this is a weird one, but like I've kind of gotten into doing this one of like I like when PS5 games have different trophy lists than the PS4 versions, because it's like I would like to actually have a reason to fully replay this again, even though I'm sure it'll just be the exact same trophy list.
yeah, probably.
But for you though, you bring up a good point of the DRM thing, because yeah, literally like not even 24 hours after that Xbox showcase, like their servers were down. I feel like for like the second time this month, and I don't know if it's just been a thing of like they've just been getting slammed with people or what. But yeah, the servers and stuff has been so weird. Of like even though like I have Game Pass, I don't play a lot of games on Game Pass too much. I'm sure that's going to change this year. Like I know I'm for sure going to be playing TMNT on Game Pass next week, and that's not even because like I want to play it on Xbox most. That's mostly just because I want Shredder's Revenge physically, but I know I'm not going to be able to get it until probably like August at the soonest. So it's like, okay, well I can check it out like there and stuff for it. But it is an interesting one of like I think that argument of how their DRM structure works with Game Pass when like those servers are online brings up a good point, but also I kind of weighed against the thing of like, okay, does it suck if this game I technically should be able to play is unavailable when I want it to? Of course. But also I then think of the fact that, hey, it's pretty cool that you get Persona 5, 4, and 3 for free, basically. You know? Oh, did I lose you?
Oh no, I'm good.
But yeah, so like I see the concerns and I see like the worries and stuff for the Game Pass stuff for sure. But it is one of those things where like I think in overall it'll still do way more good, even though I'm sure most people who listen to the show are just like, hey, I'm just gonna buy it. Like I'm probably not gonna like I doubt many people on here are going to get Game Pass for Persona, but I think a lot of us are gonna have friends who might already have Game Pass, and then we can just say, hey, play this game. It's on Game Pass. You have no reason not to. So like that'll be a good one of like hopefully seeing like that kind of become a boom, because like honestly if Xbox Game Pass can lead to a similar resonance that Persona 4 Golden had on Steam, I think that'd be really great. Like it's a super long game, so like seeing it on that, like, because like people like don't, if you're not in part of the Xbox ecosystem, you might not know this, but like Xbox has a lot of nice charts and stuff of like, hey, what's the most popular game, who's playing the most hours with this game, and like different things like that PlayStation doesn't have. Like, so you can always see like, hey, who's playing like what the most, what games are the most popular, what demographics and stuff like that. So like I would love to see like up there with like Fortnite and Apex just being like, hey, 1 million hours have been put into Persona 5 and it's been like a week. I'd be like, that's a pretty cool thing I'd like to see with it.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool, though. I don't think I would see Persona be up there.
I honestly, considering it's gonna release at a pretty good time in October, I wouldn't be surprised, because I'm like, I don't know like what else people would be playing in October for Xbox that's like scratching that RPG itch, you know? For you though, by the way, did you have any like thoughts? How did you like the either Soul Hackers dub, I would say trailer, but it was more like a flashback. And were you even a tiny bit tempted to try and get that collector's edition?
Probably not, though I am interested in getting Soul Hackers too. I never played the original game when it came out on the 3DS. But luckily, I think you said early in an early videos that I don't need to play the first game to at least get to know what happens in the second game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there
So
no knowledge needed, which would be helpful. I gotta tell you this though, it was really funny. I liked how Atlas, fairly so, when they announced that collector's edition was going on sale, they were like, extremely limited. We don't have a lot of these. Be warned. Don't be mad at us. This is gonna sell out really fast, and it did sell out in like a little under 90 minutes. But like, it made me so happy to see a lot of people just go, nope, that's too expensive. I'm not gonna try buying it. Because like for me, especially after coming off of the Xenoblade Nightmare for 10 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
at
least it's not like chaotic as
I
Xenoblade
would
Chronicles 3,
if
like
someone went up to me and said, Spencer, for $200, I'll give you the Xenoblade Collector's Edition, I would do that right now. I'd be like, please have other people be scared away from it. So it is just one of those funny things of or is like, you know what? If you're not happy with the price, that's okay. They're gonna sell them all out anyway. It doesn't matter. You know, I had to get it, man. Like, and it's so funny because like for me, the only things I wanted were the steelbook and the little Ringo figure. That was basically it. Like, I'm basically paying $180 extra than more than I would need to just for those two. But I'm like, knowing how rare they're gonna be, I was like, I can't not justify this. And it is one of those things where like I think that was like at least a good collector's edition of like, if you missed it and you didn't want it, you're not going to get FOMO later down the line. You're not going to be like, darn it, I should have given this
it
to
won't be like limited run with all their collector's editions.
It at least will be like, listen, you either knew you wanted this or not. So it kind of got you in that boat there. Do you know what platform you thinking of getting Soul Hackers 2 on though?
Probably Xbox.
How did you feel about that physical launch bonus? Like, man, I don't know why. Like, the fact that the only thing that comes in the physical edition, I mean, hey, it's at least better than Strikers and Nocturne, which came with nothing. But
what's in the launch edition?
You get the 5 character cards, which is like, hey, it's cool. It's something.
So not a steelbook, because usually a lot of these atlases come with the steelbook.
Yeah,
at launch.
I would have thought that I would have also thought the Day 1 edition would have been the steelbook if they went out of the way to design it. So this will be up there with one of those really, really small printed steelbook amounts for Atlas stuff. But yeah, like, so I was curious though for you, as someone who's planning on getting it, like, how do you feel about the character cards as like a Day 1 pre-order bonus?
I mean, they're whatever. I mean, I would have preferred a steelbook at least, because I only have like 2 steelbook copies on me.
I will say this. I was trying to think about it for it. It's the steelbook is in such a weird one, of like, because I feel like with the steelbook community, it's like with steelbooks, not even the steelbook community, with steelbooks in general, I feel like it's half and half, of like, you either don't care at all or you'd like it. And like there's no one in the middle. There's no one who's like, well, I don't care either way. So it is one of those ones of like, I don't just think like, oh well, whatever, they didn't do it because they didn't have to, because like steelbooks are expensive, but like I also don't expect them to produce a lot of physical copies of Soul Hackers. I think it's going to be probably similar to what we saw with like Nocturne, of like they're gonna do like a normal amount, but like nothing like too crazy. I don't think it's gonna like sell out or anything crazy like for the standard physical copies, but it's definitely not gonna like, it's not going to be something that you see printed a million times and go on the greatest like platinum hits, stuff like that for it, you know.
Mm.
So I'm gonna ask you one last question before I try and wrap this up. For you, because even though we had the dub trailer didn't really actually say anything in terms of a reveal. Who is one voice actor, you can pick just the actor or see who they'd want to be in general, But who is one actor you would like to see in Soul Hackers 2 and why?
Xanthi.
Who do you think she would fit?
I would say maybe Ringo.
I'm thinking, because the trailer made me think that I think Laura Post is Ringo. I may be wrong. She's either Ringo or Fig. Because the two voices, they've not been ID'd yet. They sounded exactly like Laura Post to me, and I always forget her name. The lady who does Makoto's voice actor. I could see Xanthi being Milady, actually. I feel like I could see her doing that kind of a vibe. Or, actually who I could also see her, and I forget her name, the, goth chick who hangs around with Saizo, the guy with the shark teeth. With the, purple dress and, really long hair.
Oh, yeah.
I could see her being either one of those two. Well, any other last things, or do you want to be our final goodbye here? Actually, you know what? Before I say it, I think I actually did have two questions. I'll leave you on here for these ones. Twist says, will Atlas ever market Soul Hackers 2? I've seen this come up a lot. Are you in the camp? Do you think Atlas is doing a bad job of marketing Soul Hackers?
Maybe, because they haven't really. Someone said in the chat in the Discord that they had the Soul Hackers 2 banner on their Twitter for 2 days, and then really right was when they announced the Persona games were coming to Xbox. They just went yeet and threw them.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's not a good look, but I'll give you that. That looked a little bad, but Persona obviously gonna have to take over the Twitter banner. I'll say at least for the rest of June, but I mean they're gonna have all of July and most of August to promote the game. I think they still have a lot of good opportunities. I'll say this: I'm trying to get I'm trying to get my hands on people who were actually at Summer Game Fest live. They had Jeff had a industry event. They had an English demo of Soul Hackers there, so I'm trying to get someone who was at that event to come on the show maybe next week or so and talk about what it was like playing the game there, because it was the same demo they had from the Japanese event, and everyone I've talked to who's played the demo said it was really, really good. Interestingly enough, I have heard people say it is actually way harder than they expected, which is interesting because everything I've heard, I was worried, I think people were getting worried it might be oversimplified because of some of the things they're getting rid of and stuff for it, so I'll be interested to kind of dive into it
more like the Persona games.
I've heard the way I've heard, at least through multiple people, it's definitely harder than Persona, but it's not as hard as SMT. That's at least been the vibe I have gotten from it so far. Trying to think. Mirth, unfortunately, you did miss the podcast, unfortunately. Shout out, by the way, to The Last of Us Special Edition for selling out. I literally am so mad I missed that because I wanted to pre-order that. I had the money for it, but I didn't know it was a Sony store exclusive. And by the time I finally got home and I was going to pre-order it, because I was like, oh, whatever, I'm at the movie theater all day. I'm going to watch Jurassic Park for 4 hours. And then it sold out 10 minutes after I refreshed. And I was like, well, this is what I get with my life now. Let's see. I don't think we have anyone else. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap us up here. But thank you, everybody, for calling in. Chiaki, thank you for being my last guest and letting me know how hot it is in Arizona. Can you give me a temperature check? Can you give me the temperature right now?
Okay, let me check.
Just has the death emoji next to it. There's a death emoji, fire, and a cactus.
It's 101 degrees right now.
It's 90 for me, so I won't complain then anymore, so I don't look like that much of a big baby. But thank you for being my last call-in person. I appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you. And don't forget, everyone, to pre-order Zombie Files 2 out next week.
I am sorry. Do not be that mad at me. I will not be playing AI the Somnium File next week. Only because I've not played the first one, but I will be supporting it by letting other people know to play, because I know that game... I know that game... I want that game to do well, So I might be like really out of the loop because I have a lot of friends who like that game and are excited about the sequel. Are you guys expecting it to sell well? Because I feel like this is like there's no hype going into it.
Probably not, but
Not
at least a
to
lot
be
of
fair.
people.
To be fair, not like
The
Spike
first game
Chunsoft
didn't
is
sell well either.
not like Spike Chunsoft is known for games selling well. To be fair. But here we go. Everybody, if you are interested and if you like stuff like Zero Time Dilemma, Zero Escape, 999, Danganronpa, or just want to support some of the cool folks over there at Spike Chunsoft or creative folks at Spike Chunsoft, check it out. Maybe we can beg Phil Spencer to put that on Game Pass. But I'm gonna get us out of here. I'm gonna wrap up this show. Goodbye, all you Discord people.
All right.
And before we actually get out of here, here we go. All right. And before we get out of here, if you enjoyed this show, first off, thank you all so much for watching live. We had a nice, steady stream of people watching on a nice Tuesday afternoon. If you enjoyed the call-in show, I appreciate you all for participating, even though I know there was not a lot of time, but especially with the way the show kind of kept morphing around and everything for it. I appreciate you all for watching, listening, chatting, all that stuff. I really appreciate it. If you enjoy the show, there's a bunch of links for Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. All that stuff helps so you don't miss anything. If you would like to support this show in a financial way, though, and become a fan or executive producer, you can go to patreon.com/SMTN. And by there, you can donate $1 or so, get access to exclusive giveaways, early shows when they're not live like this one for $1 and up. Or for $5 and up a month, you can become an executive producer, get your name shouted out, be an executive producer. Big old thanks all around, just like all of our executive producers right now, such as Jagingus, Budweiser Tall Cans, Carlos Hernandez, Cross Renren, K Horse, Kashika, Patrick Dissart, Philip Meyer, Seashow, Solaire, and Cameron Sharp. Thank you all so much, whether you are $1 and up or $5 and up Patreon producer. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. If you just listen to the show for free, I also appreciate it. You guys are such a blast to talk to, whether it be text, Discord, Twitter, all that fun stuff. So thank you so much for listening and watching. Have a good rest of your night. Play some games. And if you're watching this after the fact, let me know, what version are you most excited about? Persona 3, 4, 5, Xbox, Game Pass, Soul Hackers? Let me know down below. Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me that AI The Somnium Files 2 will sell more billion copies. I will feel very happy with that. Thank you all again. Have a good one. I'm going to go get some water. I'm very thirsty. Goodbye.